Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. I hope you're all having a fantastic day and an amazing week. I'm Dr. Dan Nightingale, your clinical dementia specialist. First of all, before I start this video, I just want to thank all my followers and everybody that is engaging and interacting with the Facebook page, the Instagram page, and watching the YouTube videos and sharing them, which is fantastic. You know, the more people we can educate around the world, the better it is for everyone. So today, as always, I'm joined by my wife and my all-round handler, Lynn. Good morning, Lynn.
Hello.
Doing all right?
Yep.
Good. So today we want to talk a little bit about the importance of socialization and the detriment of isolation. So let's start with a little scenario. When somebody is first given a diagnosis of Alzheimer's disease, for example, they may well have spent some time feeling very low, a depressive kind of thing, in a form of depression. And sometimes people who have got Alzheimer's disease or the very starts of it, or MCI, may be misdiagnosed as having clinical depression. So let's say we're feeling low, we're feeling down, we have all our tests, we have all our exams, and then we are delivered with the news that you have early onset Alzheimer's disease. Now that affects people in different ways, but in one of the ways that it affects a lot of people is by them withdrawing into self. So, for example, you might think and you might believe, falsely believe, that you're going to go out and forget everybody's names and you won't remember who your friends are, you won't remember your family, you won't remember. Now, if this belief system gets ingrained into your brain and your thought processes, then you're starting a road down a very slippery slope. So instead, I want people to try and be upbeat about the diagnosis. Instead of withdrawing into self, do the opposite. Go to the opposite end of the spectrum and continue to socialize, continue to integrate with friends and family and society as a whole, and continue to build friendships and relationships. Continue to work within your networks, continue to build networks, continue to do different things, new things, where you will meet new people and have new opportunities. It's all about being positive, and it's all about saying, okay, I've got this diagnosis, and now a lot of what has been happening to me makes sense. So what am I going to do about it? We can be proactive or we can be reactive. Let's be proactive. Let's proactively accept that diagnosis, get out there and be proactive. So that's what I want you to do. And this is the reason there is so much research out there that tells us that isolation is very, very bad for our overall health, especially our brain health and cognition. Isolating ourselves, having fewer friends, having few family members, maybe some people who don't have any family members at all, or don't have any friends or withdraw from friends, seem to decline a lot faster than people who are active, who are busy, who are socializing, who are going out and doing things and doing stuff. So whatever the situation, I want you to get out there and be active and do stuff and be around people who are positive. Be around people who are active. Be around people who know other people and who do things. People who smile a lot, people who are happy, people who really focus on what's going on in the world. Being mindful. Mindfulness is really important. So, as I said, I'm joined here by Lynn, and we have a question, I believe, from someone who's watching this video.
Yes, we have a question about what if when you're diagnosed, you feel like everyone will know that you have this diagnosis? Is that a common thing?
Yeah. Um, this is the thing about having Alzheimer's disease or any other type of memory issue, cognitive change. Nobody can see it. They can't see it. If you break your leg, you break your arm, if you break your neck, you can see it. There's evidence that that's happened and that there's something wrong there. Nobody knows what's going on inside your mind. Nobody knows what's going inside your thought processes. That was my dog, apparently he does. Nobody knows what is happening to your brain. Nobody can see it. You can only see these things on scans, MRIs and PET scans. The average person doesn't see it. The average person might see some difference in you, some change in you, but remain positive, remain upbeat and outgoing, and don't let what other people think and feel impact on you or affect you in any way, shape or form. Because, through our brain health approach and interventions, and through all the other things that are available to help slow down progression of the disease, manage symptoms, improve cognition, improve memory, there is nothing to have stigma about, because I think that's what the question is around, really, the stigma of having any kind of cognitive health issue. And the same with mental health issues. There's a lot of stigma around that. But there's less and less stigma today. And the more we educate people and the more people understand what is happening, then the less stigma, the less we need to feel embarrassed or ashamed, and the more we need to get out there and do our thing. But that's a really good question, Lynn.
We also have another question. The isolation that you're talking about for everyone, no matter if they have this diagnosis, is bad. Is it kind of like what most people went through during COVID?
The isolation aspect of it.
And what happened as an effect of that? Right.
Again, what we saw during that lockdown period is that the people who had good friendships, families and networks didn't and weren't impacted or affected anywhere near as much as those who were more isolated. We saw a lot of mortality. The mortality in nursing homes just massively increased because of that isolation. But the people who didn't have that level of isolation they didn't die, they weren't impacted as much. So it is similar, yes, absolutely. You need to keep friendships, you need to maintain and socialize. And if anybody, if you're progressing along the journey and somebody says to you, it might be a family member, it might be a professional, might be a friend, if they say to you, I think it might be a really good idea to go to a centre where there's activities and where there's stuff going on and where you can meet people and where you can interact, engage and socialise, don't be offended by that. Accept that as being a wonderful opportunity to do exactly that, to meet new people, to learn new information, to learn new knowledge, to socialise, to make a new friend. Really take on board any of those things that people suggest, because I know from personal clinical experience that when people suggest that, people do get upset and think that it's, I have to go there now because there's nothing left for me to do. That isn't the case. It's the opposite. It's all about interaction, socialisation, engagement, and learning something new. I have a patient who, about 2 months ago, it was suggested to them that they go to this daycare place, the day centre, an activities centre, or an adult centre. They were very upset that they were being made to go to this place where, they just didn't want to be. 2 months in, she's joined an art class, she's working on an art project, and she's met a new friend. How cool is that? That is absolutely amazing. So and she's enjoying it. And there's a guy that I know exactly the same. He goes there, and people love him being there. He makes everybody laugh, and he turns people's frowns into smiles, despite dealing with his own challenges. So accept it as being a positive thing.
And I'd like to throw in there that you might learn something from other people, but also you have a lot to offer yourself.
Right.
So you can share your stories and your humor and your knowledge, and
right.
You know, you might lift up somebody else's spirits that day.
Absolutely.
You know,
absolutely. And everybody's got a wealth of knowledge, a lifetime of experience in all different things. You know, none of us no two people are the same. Even identical twins are likely to have different lifestyles, okay, and different experiences. So absolutely, that's a good point as well, Lynn. Thank you. So just to summarise and recap that, socialise, engage, get out there and do stuff. Don't let this 5% of cognitive change impact the 95% of who you are. You are still that person. You've still got those skills, that knowledge, that ability. You still got a sense of humour. You still like music. You still like playing musical instruments. You still like speaking a new language, a different language. You like to learn. And to conclude this, we are human beings. Homo sapiens sapiens is what we are right now. This is where we are in the evolution. And as such, we are social people. We like to be in herds. You know, we like to be together. So don't let that change. Thank you for listening. Share this YouTube video. Share this channel with all your friends, families, any professionals that you know or that you're working with. As I said earlier, the more people we educate globally, the better it is. And just before I go, you all know how we end these videos, but just for new people, I'm going to remind you. I'm going to count to 3. On the count of 3, you are going to shout as loud as you can with me, dump the soda. Okay? Are you ready? 1, 2, 3, dump the soda!